Welcome back. The Defense Department estimates nearly 50,000 civilian employees experienced work-related sexual harassment and another 2,500 experienced sexual assault in fiscal year 2018. The Government Accountability Office says the Pentagon can do more to track reports of these incidents. Brenda Farrell is Director of Defense Capabilities and Management Issues at GAO. Brenda, welcome. Thanks for coming on the program. You write in this work, visibility over both types of incidents, sexual harassment and sexual assault, is hindered by guidance and information sharing challenges. Tell me about both of those challenges that the department is up against, Brenda.
Well, visibility, as you're noting, is a key challenge for DoD in this area. It's difficult to set policy and improve your programs if you don't have the data to help determine what the trends are and where you should be targeting your resources. And this report addresses a number of challenges with the gaps in the guidance and the data collection and differences in terminology with both the sexual harassment programs as well as the sexual assault.
You cite the numbers about sexual assault, for example, and then you write these data do not include all incidents of sexual assault reported over this time period. How do we know that, Brenda?
Well, as you noted, the estimates are quite different from the data that we reviewed for reported incidents of harassment and assault. The estimates are from a survey that DoD conducts biannually. It's based on self-reported data for the prior year to the survey. We looked at reported cases over a 5-year period and found that there were 370 cases of reported sexual harassment incidents, as well as 199 on sexual assault. That's quite a difference in the reported and the estimates, especially since the estimates are for the 1 year and the reported cases are for 5 years. Now, we all know that often an individual who's a victim of harassment or assault does not want to report because they want to move on, they think nothing will be done, and other reasons that people don't report. But we know that there's gaps in the guidance, and that's the reason we say that because there's gaps in the guidance, there's only a fraction of the cases actually being reported. The gaps are, there's data lacking with those who are victims of sexual assault in the United States, those who are victims of sexual assault and are employed by defense agencies, and those who are military dependents.
I have spoken about a particular problem in the department with you, other colleagues of yours at GAO, DoD Inspector General's offices, about the challenges that are presented when each service, each organization inside the department does the same thing a different way. And it strikes me that you're getting at that issue here. DoD civilian employees' ability to make restricted reports of sexual assault varies across components. Is that part of the problem here, is that everybody does it differently?
That's one of the many problems that we found in terms of the reporting options for sexual assault. As you may know, military personnel who are victims of sexual assault have 2 reporting options. They're called restricted and unrestricted. The restricted was devised to help the victim. A victim could make a complaint and receive health services and counseling, but there would not be an investigation. For civilians, the process has been different, except in the Air Force. The Air Force allows the restricted option to be offered to civilians worldwide. The Air Force has an exception to the sexual assault and prevention policy that allows them to do this back several years ago. Then that exception ran out. They asked for another exception to continue allowing that. They received that exception. The last exception ran out in 2019. So the Air Force has chosen to continue to offer that particular option. This is something that other service officials told us would be beneficial, and it should be consistent across the department, especially since often you have civilian employees in joint environments, and why should the rules be different depending upon what component that you're working for? So that is a clear example of a inconsistent reporting option for sexual assault currently offered in DoD.
Yeah, that piqued our interest because we would normally, at the end of a segment like this, we'd put up a number or some type of contact information. If you think you've been a victim of this, here's the number to call, and there isn't really one, is there, Brenda?
There's not one, and that's the problem with both the harassment as well as sexual assault. For sexual harassment, there's actually 4 options, depending upon eligibility, that a DoD federal employee could utilize to make a complaint. That varies from, most viewers are probably familiar with the equal employment opportunity process, but there's also a military equal opportunity process, as well as command investigation. And the 4th option for reporting sexual harassment is the anti-harassment programs throughout DoD.
We have about a minute left. Brenda, there are 19 recommendations. Are there some of these that are vitally important to start on now, or some of these that would be relatively quick to implement or more important to implement?
Well, we think that in order to implement these recommendations, sometimes it takes DoD months to write a revised policy, and sometimes it takes a decade. This is something that's going to need sustained leadership to make sure that all of these policies are reviewed and adjustments are made where necessary. And there needs to be sustained oversight for this very key part of DoD's workforce.
Brenda Farrell, thanks very much as always.
Thank you.